app.
Okay, thank you. My name is Becca Krouse. I am a data scientist at GSK. And Julianne said my title. I also want to mention that this talk is my own opinion and not necessarily of GSK. So I want to start by taking us back a year ago to this very conference where my colleague Christina Fillmore told us why we spend all our lives formatting tables. And Christina gave us a story that's very familiar to many of us, where we're working on a study. It wraps up, we do the final analysis and create our nice clean table exactly how we planned. Someone else on our team QCs the values and we think we're done. We think we're good to go. But we're probably not, because that analysis is very valuable and it's likely to go to other places as well. Maybe someone's journal article or a conference presentation. And each time it goes somewhere new, it might need a little tweak. It might need a little bit different rounding, maybe some different alignments, some different labels, just depending on the preferences or requirements. Each time we need to do a little bit of a tweak, we have to go back to our program and edit that program, get those values checked again, and it ends up adding up to quite a bit of work. So as a solution, Christina shared an R package our team created starting last year called tfrmt. So what tfrmt allows us to do is spend a lot less time formatting, because we can take all of the instructions for how our table should look. What are the rows? What are the columns? How should values be aligned? How should things be rounded? Take all of that stuff and put it into an object in R called a tfrmt object. So all of the metadata lives there. And what we can do is do this upfront at the very, very beginning of our study before we have any data. Use that object to generate a mock display. Later on, when we've done our analysis and we have that actual data available, we can combine the two. So we don't need to redo the tfrmt. We can reuse the same one, add the data, and we have our final table. And I just want to mention that that data is expected to be in a standard long skinny format called an ARD. Now, if someone else wants to add some custom tweaks to this table later on, they can take our original tfrmt and layer on another tfrmt that contains their customizations. And what they get is their own version of the table with their own title, footnote, things like that. Finally, a new feature to tfrmt is the ability to save out that metadata to a JSON file. So we have our tfrmt object in R, and with one line of code, we can save that out to a file for later reuse. So with tfrmt in place, our programmers everywhere had the world at their fingertips. They had a tool designed for them with the ability to reuse things more easily, layer things, and have their time freed up for lots of other fun things. But there was one small issue, or maybe a big issue, is that there's a lot of other people who need to use these tables as well and would like to use them and would like to make them their own. Maybe those are scientists or medical writers or other folks who may or may not know R, may or may not program at all, and they're unable to use tfrmt directly and decode the maps for how that works. So what are they supposed to do? We set out to answer that question. We had created the basic functionality of tfrmt. We got it to a really a good place that we felt good about. And we thought that functionality could be useful in a lot of other scenarios. And we took some steps to make that possible by adding a Shiny interface. And this became the tfrmtbuilder, our package, which contains a Shiny app called tfrmtbuilder. So it's really meant to be an interface for tfrmt. You can really use one or the other. It just like tfrmt, it supports a lot of different workflows, creating mocks, creating tables from scratch, or maybe on the other end of things, customizing something that already exists. So I want to take us through the app and show some features from that latter point of view, which is a really common use case for the tfrmtbuilder app. someone who may not be super familiar with the R package or is comfortable programming, but wants to participate in this workflow and be able to customize a table that already exists. So let's say a programmer has already created a nice clean table containing the analysis, and this individual wants to take it and add some additional tweaks. So what they're going to do is they're going to go into the app, and the first place they'll visit is the Initialize tab. So this is where they define their starting point and tell the app, what they're working with. And so that ends up being, well, they have a few options, but one of them is, of course, the data. What is the analysis data that already exists that somebody else created? They can upload that into the app so that the table can be created using that data. I mentioned earlier that tformat now has the ability to save out metadata into a JSON file for later reuse. The app is a prime example of the reuse. So they can take that file that's already been created and load that into the app. Between these two things, they're able to generate the display that already existed and start from there. So just to show you what this looks like, the next step for them after the Initialize tab is moving over to the Edit tab, where they're going to work on the actual table. And because they provided those files, they're not working from scratch. They go from an interface that looks something like this, incomplete, things to do, to something that is filled out, auto-populated. You can see the table on the right-hand side there that is much cleaner than, or that is clean and kind of ready to go. At this point, they can take advantage of the functionality in tformat that is made available through the app. So those are tabs going down the left-hand side there vertically, and they can bounce around there and do different things with formatting. The one that's selected is data mapping, and that's just where they say which columns which in the data set. So to help them navigate this whole thing, especially if they're new, as the development team, we wanted to make this as easy and transparent as possible. So we made sure to put that table display on the right-hand side. So what they can do is edit and view at the same time and see all the impacts of their changes, as well as the ability to go back. If we go one level down into one of these formatting options, this one adjusts how the columns get displayed. As the development team, we also wanted to make sure this was as intuitive and interactive as possible. So in this case, dragging and dropping of the ordering of columns, just really easy. A user can come in and know exactly what to do right off the bat. In general, the users can bounce around through the different features, but sometimes they need to do a specific action. So another development or design decision we made throughout the app is letting them know when they need to press the save button, making it obvious when it was time to refresh the table. So just these small touches, making that experience, again, a little bit more approachable, easier accessible to a newer user or a non-technical user. Once this individual is happy with how their table looks and those additional customizations they've added, they can save out the result. So there's a few options there as well. Of course, they can save the final table to a document of choice. And there's a couple available right now, but more coming. So they can save that table to a standalone file. They can also save the metadata. So remember, they loaded in a file to start off from where the last person, ended. They've made some customizations that results in an updated set of metadata that they can save down that will reproduce their settings later. This really helps to close the loop, allowing someone else to pick up where they left off last time and reproducing all the work they did. So with tformat and tfrmtbuilder in place, we're able to reach an even broader set of users, and it really has helped bridge the gap that any gaps that previously existed due to a team consisting of varying experiences and varying roles. And we really feel that this type of approach helps teams work together more seamlessly in general. And I will leave you with a couple of links if you're interested to the two packages. And I'm happy to chat more after the talk. So thank you very much.